this is a little tangential, Pat, but any thoughts on kids with...
I know what you're going to ask.
You know.
You're going to ask me about immersion programs.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because it comes up all the time, right?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, I knew exactly what you were going to ask, because this is the next thing. People used to ask me, well, what about minimally verbal kids? And I kept saying, we don't know. The other question that people ask is, well, what about kids with autism being in French immersion, Mandarin immersion, right? Because in many school districts, if a family approaches the district to say, I want my kid in an immersion program, they're told, oh, wait, no, your kid can't be in immersion. That means, he has autism. Like you didn't know that already. There hasn't been a study looking at immersion. That's the next thing to tackle. I don't think we're going to be able to tackle it through the Pathways Project, because I don't know if enough kids are in immersion, but that isn't important. I mean, there's certainly no reason to suspect. None of this conflicts with the literature for typically developing kids, except for the lack of bilingual advantage in pragmatics and executive function. Right? But everything else lines up. So there's no reason to suspect that isn't going to line up too, just kind of logically, but we don't know. I mean, we just don't know. We also don't know, except for Stephanie's Macaro study, we don't know anything about literacy development, right, for kids who are raised in a bilingual home. We don't know, can they read in both languages? Do they have more difficulty learning the majority literacy language? We don't know that. And of course, in immersion programs, that becomes a real issue, because if a kid with autism is in French immersion, he's learning to read French and speak French, right? But that means by necessity, probably, his English literacy development is going to be delayed until English literacy is introduced, which in some programs is until like grade 3 or grade 4. And that might be for some kids too much to manage, but there's no research on it. And it also depends on the kid, probably, how much speech he has and language he has going into the immersion program, right? A whole bunch of things. So I think that's nobody's done it yet, because it's more complicated than simple early language development, but it's certainly the next thing that needs to be tackled, because I think that's the next big question for many families should my kid be in an immersion program?
Okay, here's a question, because for my family, we speak Mandarin at home, and me and my wife, we only speak Mandarin. And for my kid who has autism and he's 4, so for him, and when he first got diagnosed, we went to the agency to find the treatment for him. And the behavior consultant and the speech language pathologist keep on telling me that says you have to just speak English only, because because you live in English speaking world. Yeah. And so because my wife doesn't understand any English, so in turn it kind of forced into the way I speak English, my wife speaks Mandarin. But as you know, in some languages, it's just better way to speak Mandarin than English in order to communicate. And so my question will be, should I just switch back into Mandarin because first of all, I want to speak Mandarin to him, because when he goes to school, he's basically 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just pure English.
Right.
And he will learn English that way. Right. And if you don't speak Mandarin at home, eventually he will just forget about it. Right. And he won't be able to speak any Mandarin at all. Right. And which, for me and for my family, is incredibly important to us to keep our culture alive. Yep. And it's, other than my mom and my brothers are all only speaking Mandarin anyway. Right. My mom can hardly understand English. Right. My brother can speak English no problem, but of course, Mandarin is still the better language for
So
them.
if I understand, really, you are in a monolingual Mandarin home now.
Yes, for my
That's-
family,
That's
yes.
all that your child hears at home is Mandarin.
No, he understands English too because I speak English to him.
Ah,
Because like
you also
the,
speak Mandarin to him.
yeah, I speak Mandarin
speak
too.
both, yeah.
So in terms, because I listen to the consultant and the speech language pathologist, so for English only. But my question is, should I just switch back to just speak Mandarin and
No.
let him learning English at home, at school?
No. I mean, I think what this says is you're not hurting him by speaking Mandarin at home,
Right,
right? That's okay, right? And it's important to you, as you say, that's fine.
right,
But if he hears English at home too,
right,
that will help him learn English, not just hearing it at school.
right,
That doesn't mean that every time you speak to him, you should only speak English to him.
Right.
You could do both. You could say it in English, you could say it in Mandarin, so he hears both ways.
Yeah.
Or, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, speak English to him. Tuesday,
Right.
Thursday, right? But he should hear both from you.
Yeah.
And then if he only hears Mandarin from everybody else, that's okay.
Right.
And then he's also hearing English at school.
Yeah, because for him, he can understand both.
Yeah,
Actually,
right.
he can translate both.
He
like
can
for
translate.
that, yeah, he can translate. So for me is one of my question like we just answered
Yeah.
is should I just all Mandarin at home and let him learn English in school?
No, continue to do what you're doing, which is
Right.
English at home, sometimes Mandarin at home, sometimes when you speak to him.
Mm-hmm,
And when other people in your family who also speak English
Right.
speak to him, have them sometimes speak English, sometimes speak Mandarin, whatever is comfortable.
Mm-hmm,
Right? What's important is that he be involved in the social conversation
Right.
of the family. And if the social conversation of the family is in Mandarin because everybody is speaking Mandarin, great. If the social conversation means that sometimes people can speak English to him, that's okay too. That's good.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
So I think that what you are already doing, the research says is fine.
Okay.